Fiscal constraints for the next U.S. president. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton set to unveil their plans for fresh government spending. Oh, good.
Great.
But no matter what promises they make, both candidates face the highest debt-to-GDP ratio if they enter the White House. Here now is David Walker, former U.S. Comptroller General under President Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, this is one of the issues that I feel like neither of the candidates wants to talk about, because all the solutions are ugly and painful, and they're not things that anyone really wants to vote for because they don't want to pay the bill. Are all the choices hard in this category to make things right?
They're politically difficult, Melissa, and you're correct that neither candidate has laid out a comprehensive and credible plan to be able to get debt as a percentage of the economy down to a reasonable and sustainable level, like the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which I'm on the board, has called for. In addition, neither candidate has risen to the challenge of AARP, whose board I'm also on, to be able to take a stand and lay out a framework for how they would propose to assure that Social Security is solvent, sustainable, secure, including for younger generations of Americans.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, so you hit on the main points there, that the only way to really get this number down is you have to attack entitlements. I mean, there's really nothing else in the budget that takes up so much space that you could cut. All these other gimmicks about, you know, taking a penny off here and there, or you're going to cut incremental spending. You really have to cut the big ones, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, right? Is there any other way?
Correct. Well, two-thirds of the budget is on autopilot. About 68% of the budget is so-called mandatory spending, which Congress does not appropriate. And the things that are appropriated by Congress represent all the express and enumerated responsibilities envisioned in the Constitution of the United States. You have to do comprehensive tax reform to make it simpler, fairer, more competitive, and to generate more revenues. Growth can help, but you can't solve the problem with that. You've got to reform social insurance programs to make them solvent, sustainable, secure for future generations. You have to rationalize defense spending. And you also have to go to round two of health care. You know, the Affordable Care Act is not politically and economically sustainable in its present form. We're going to have to go back at that, among other things.
So, David, I mean, you have been talking about this for so long. It must be so frustrating for you. Is there a way to dress it up and put whipped cream and chocolate sauce on it and make it more palatable to Americans so that we could finally get something done? Because I myself am fearful of this. I mean, we are saddling my children for generations with all this debt. In the meantime, we're not going to be able to pay any of our bills. No one takes it seriously. What could you say to make the sale?
Well, first, if you care about America, if you care about your children, your grandchildren, and future generations, you should care about this issue. You know, we are mortgaging their future at record rates, reducing investments in their future at a time they're going to face a lot tougher competition. Look, here's the good news. In 2012, I went to 27 states, did town hall forums, met with representative groups of Americans. By 77 to 90+%, they agreed on a broad range of reforms that would get debt to GDP down to 60% by 2030 to 35. The American people are a lot smarter than politicians realize. We need a leader, whoever that is, that will state the facts, speak the truth, bring people together to solve these problems. We need to cut some deals, because doing nothing is not acceptable.
You said cut some deals. You have a little more confidence in Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton on this front, real quick. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, Donald Trump, I don't endorse. Donald Trump obviously is a deal maker. He's a non-traditional politician. He said that he wants major change, including a lot of the dimensions I've talked about. He needs to be more specific about what that is. Hillary Clinton's pretty much stay the course, and I'm not endorsing anybody.
There you go. I understand. David Walker, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.